Yo, what is going on YouTube? This is your boy Kamen Zero Spike back again once again today, people. Today we're here for Kamen Geats episode 15. 16. I'm tripping. Episode 16. And today, people, today we get the conclusion and the erasure basically of Kamen Glare, or one of the Kamen Glares. But this episode we are in the Fox Hunt. We are in the new game where Geats has came up with the game of, hey, I need you guys to all fight Geats. All fight Geats and get him the duck out of here. And I don't. This man is just super mean to Geats. But in this episode, everybody's basically going through the motions of basically trying to decide whether they want to fight Geats or not. During the game, we see that Neon and Tycoon are going through different things throughout their lives, with their lives technically, or try to figure out what exactly they want to do against Geats, and do they actually want to fight their homeboy, technically their homeboy. But we also see that Geats is in that mindset of trying to actually destroy Geats, and seemingly manipulating Kawa into being on his side and actually taking down Geats as well, and showing him, like, just basically utterly manipulating him into doing what he wants him to do. We see that he's telling him things like, you know, go ahead and defeat him so you can get your ideal world. I'm on your side. You know, he even gives him the jet. He even gives him the jet buckle, like stuff like that. Like, he even shows Kawa what Geats' wish was the, you know, to be in the DGP, to basically compete in the, you know, become a DGP staff member, stuff like that. So basically overall manipulating Geats. We also see Neon is also working in the background. She's trying to get all these different informations and things like that, even talking to her dad, one of the sponsors of the DGP, and telling him exactly what Geats is doing. But we did see that Geats is still fighting other people. He's fighting a bunch of hacked members of the writers, but hacked members of the DGP. I don't know we don't know who these characters are. All we know is that they are hacked the same way he hacked Punk Jack. So these characters, they're off there, whatever. I guess they call them the Hounds, because whenever Neon or Tycoon actually show up, they back off. They just, no hesitation, none of that. They just stop fighting him and they back off. We see that they're fighting him, and that's when Punk Jack shows up and they back off from Punk Jack. We see that he's fighting Punk Jack, and he's hesitant on defeating Punk Jack because he knows that he's hacked. And we see Punk Jack, like, but considering how his screams are, he's trying to resist this whole hacking thing and whatever. So he's fighting Punk Jack. He ends up pulling out his rifle, and he's really hesitant on shooting Punk Jack, but he ends up shooting. But we see that he does end up shooting him, and it just goes off in this giant explosion with Neon and, like, watching in the background, because she's not really wanting to fight and stuff like that. We did see the manipulation tactics of, like I said before, the manipulation tactics of Geats with Kawa, and we did see that Geats has taken up refuge in, like, some, like, sort of like an abandoned building, stuff like that. And we see that Sumidi is talking to him, and she's basically taking care of him. She ends up giving him food, and she ends up giving him, like, patching his wounds up and things like that. And he asks her, like, he's basically, trying to figure out why was a person like me born, who am I, what purpose do I have, and things like that. And my mom has all the answers, and he tells her his mom's name, and we see that Sumidi knows something. It feels like, with her hesitation on how she spoke to him, we know that she knows something, like she knows she has to know who his mother is, but she says that that's information that I can't divulge. I can't tell you that information. And he's like, yeah, I figured as much. So we did see that Neon does go and talk to her dad about what Geats is actually doing, and actually taking her rich girl status, being part of it, also, and actually putting it to get use, being able to talk to these people who are higher ups and stuff, considering the family that she is a part of. So we get back to them fighting. We get back to the Geats fighting the two hounds, the two hound riders. I'm calling them hound riders because Guidoti calls it the whole fox hunt thing. And you know, when you go hunting, you take the hounds out with you, especially to hunt foxes and raccoons and birds and freaking raccoons and freaking deers and stuff. So you take the hounds with you. So we see that the hounds are fighting him and stuff like that, but we end up seeing that Tycoon actually makes his appearance and he ends up fully on making his decision. We saw a conversation he had with his sister, telling her about, like, you know, don't you miss mom and dad, stuff like that. Like, if we could live in a world where they were back, would you do it? Stuff like that. You know, just trying to we'll see how his sister would feel her out, see how she would feel if, you know, mom and dad came back, since they were killed by Yamato. So we end up seeing that Tycoon and Geats end up getting into this really big fight. They're both using the jet and cannon. Yeah, they're both using the jet and cannon buckles, and we see that we get a battle of the land and the air. But we see that by them having the sword battle, we see that you don't have to. It doesn't matter if you destroy Yamato with it. Just by using the sword and having the sword connected with something is enough to charge it up. So they ended up charging up these two blasts, end up charging up these two swords, and they end up going into the full forms of these up this. And it's like a somewhat feels like a Gundam fight when you think about it. But while they're fighting, we see that Glare he's like, oh man, this is stupid. And he's like, he's basically taking this opportunity to be able to attack Geats while he's fighting Kawa. And we see that while Geats is basically blindsided by the attack that Glare pulls out, we see that KY ends up charging up his blast and ends up shooting Glare. He ends up shooting Guidoti, and that's when, you know, he tells Guidoti, you know, and Guidoti's like, that's when they catch Guidoti all in the act. We see that the boy Niram, the guy with the woman who had the assistant who sent out the jet and cannon buckles the first time, we see that he appears there with Neon, and that's when we see that Neon talked to her dad, and then her dad ended up talking to Niram, and then that's when, you know, they end up deciding to get rid of Guidoti. But before that, we end up seeing a 3-on-1 battle between them fighting Guidoti. He's somewhat beating them, but we see that Kawa and everybody else are able to get that one good hit on, that one rider kick, thanks to Geats. He ends up trying to fight them again, but that's when Niram comes in and stops the fight, and he basically tells him that, oh yeah, you know, I can replace you, you know, you're easily replaceable. He's like, I'm just trying to beat this guy, I'm trying to get rid of all his worthless wishes he's been making. And that's when KY steps in, and he's like, all these people that have been in the DGP, and all these people who had wishes, all the people who have died or have been retired, you know, they sat here and put their lives on the line for this place, and you basically just walking all over their dreams, essentially. And that's when we see Niram ends up basically firing Guidoti. I don't know if Guidoti's coming back. I don't know. I mean, I would like, but if he does come back, like, he can't do anything. I mean, he ends up having the vision driver taken away from him, and that's when Niram takes it, and that's when the game basically ends. But no one is the winner of the game. We end up seeing Sumidi. She ends up telling everybody, you guys have basically gained priority or qualification to enter in the next round of the game. And then we find out that the real objective of the real purpose of the DGP is entertainment, saving the world, but also entertainment. And they end up revealing that the DGP will now be a reality show. So now people from all over the world are going to be watching them, possibly other dimensions as well, since we have so many like pocket dimensions in this series, especially from where the sponsors in fact watch them, and where they all meet up at and stuff like that. We see that all these different dimensions, and we saw that Guidoti even said that, hey man, like, the Yamato are steadily starting to evolve and stuff like that. Like, what are you gonna do without me? And that's when you told him, like, you're easily replaceable. I can always bring somebody in. So yeah, so they end up revealing that the DGP is going to be a reality show, and that's when they're getting ready to start the next round. So we end up seeing that Buffer is still alive, man. Buffer is still alive, and he's been delivered to this to the greenhouse guy, Archimetal, which is a really cool name, just but for a random old guy. We see that Archimetal is essentially going to be trying to experiment on Buffer, and he says that, oh yeah, Buffer, he feels weird because he's overusing that zombie buckle. So I'm glad to see Buffer still alive. I knew Buffer was gonna come back, but I'm glad he's still alive. We end up also seeing that early in the episode that Geats did not shoot Punk Jack. He didn't shoot Win. We see that Gidoi basically activated a self-destruct thing, which if he has somebody hacked, he can make them explode. So Punk Jack actually exploded on top of Geats, and I don't know. And Geats survived, yeah, but still, we don't know if Win is actually coming back. We don't know if he's dead or not or anything. But turns out, I'm hoping that your boy does come back. He's grown on me. He's grown on me as a character. I hated him at first, but he's grown on me as a character. But also, the whole thing, I don't know if Archimetal experimenting on Buffer is actually going to be able to create even stronger Jamato. And we also saw we're getting a bunch of new characters again with this preview, seeing that these characters are going to have a lot of personality. Hopefully some of them hopefully they all stay around for a while, because like how we did with the first crew, because a lot of people in the second crew freaking died, especially Homegirl, who died in the first freaking 5 minutes. But yeah, this episode, man, was a good revelation and a big ending to an actual it felt like an ending to an arc. It feels like we're going to like a season 2 when it comes down to what's going to happen next. But other than that, you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think of Kamen Rider Geats episode 16. I'm gonna see you guys next time. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm gonna see you guys next time. Remember, stay henshined.